right, this is Place Navigators. We're coming at you live again. If you are joining us live, we're so grateful, but we are also going to make sure that this podcast shows up on all the platforms that we syndicate to. Real quick, just want to introduce myself again. My name's Joe Platz. I am with Place Real Estate Team, specifically the Platz Group, serving the greater Seattle area and the Boise area in the Treasure Valley. Who are you and why are you on my podcast?
What's up, brother? This is Chris Elder. I'm also part of the Platz team here in Snohomish and Everett and Puget Sound area. So, yeah, brother, this is an amazing podcast. We deep dive into real estate topics, not just
all things.
Yeah, really. It's not just for the consumers that are buying real estate, but also those who are in real estate themselves and maybe even want to start a career in real estate.
Ooh.
What do you think, Joe? Should we dive into it a little bit further?
You doing a little hint? Well, Chris, before we start giving away the farm here, man, let's talk about what was, this is episode 9, dude, episode 9. But what was episode 8? What were we, what did we just lay down for everybody?
So, in episode 8, we really took a deep dive into the multiple offer strategy. And I really enjoyed that one because a lot of people think that it's just low ball it right off the bat. And, it depends where you're at. You really need to listen to that agent that is there that's going to advise you on what the market looks like. And if they're not giving you the raw data to make that decision and showing you where, hey, look at the average. Everybody right now is paying about 0.25% over, in your county and stuff like that. We can really show you those numbers. So lowball on it, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to, for a house that's like $1 million, you can't say I'm going to offer 700,000 and think that is going to.
And they can counter me if they don't like it. That's the stuff we hear sometimes. And then they're like, what do you mean they wouldn't counter me? Like, we literally mean they threw your stuff in the trash and said they'd burn their house down before they would talk to you again. That's what they said. Yeah. So Chris, there's one question that you and I get all the time, and that's how's the market or what's up with the market. But if I was to say of top 5 questions that I get after those layup ones, what's another high ranking question that you and I get as real estate professionals a lot from other people?
One of those questions is, why don't I just get my real estate license and sell my own house?
Wow. You are so right, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you got to know us a little bit for this to make sense. But if we were to name this episode, what we wanted to name it, we'd name it Who's the Real Veteran, right? Because Chris, if you don't know, Chris has had an amazing career in the United States Navy, and people that serve our country have a soft place in my heart. And I really respect and honor that, Chris. And I want to take a moment right now to say thank you for that. And I'll be telling you thank you as many times as I think about it for the rest of our days. And I've been, just to give you guys a quick background, I've been licensed and an active full-time, I got that question a lot, between 2008 and 2011, a full-time real estate broker since 2003. But to give you guys a little bit of background as we dig into this about what you need to do to become an agent, should you become an agent, is real estate honestly was not my career aspiration. I was in college and I got a couple of degrees and they're kind of in nerdy things. So I try to hide that a little bit, but I'm probably terrible at hiding my nerdy side. But what happened is I kind of got into some deals. And I started to see the opportunity, and the opportunity wasn't just for me, but it was for the people that I was helping, and it was for the results that we were creating. And I kind of had a moment in time where self said to self, I'm good at this thing that I went to college to do. I'm good at technology. I'm good at these things, but I really like what I can create with real estate. And maybe just because I'm good at this one thing, maybe I'd rather do something that I'd like, that I'd love. And that was the moment where I got a gift and I got to choose a career and industry where like I could have some passion about it and work wasn't just a 4-letter word of my vocabulary. So Chris, tell us more about you. Like, what's the background? Where do you come from? How in the world did you end up on a podcast with me? All those kinds of things.
Yeah, Joe, the whole entire podcast, I was invited by Joe to be a part of this podcast, and it's a very big honor because, let's face it, I'm a new agent. And I think we originally, like you said, we wanted to hint towards the rookie and the veteran, and who's the real veteran?
Who's the real veteran? Well, I'll concede to the United States Navy on this one because that's just the right thing to do, bro.
Yeah, no, and the thing is when we get out, and it's kind of like a learning curve because I may have been at the top of my chain when it came to aircraft maintenance and managing people and being on top of a flight deck, launching aircraft off and having fun.
Like Top Gun.
Yeah, I mean the support crew for Top Gun, and
awesome.
It's funny me and the kids watched Top Gun, and they haven't seen it before, and we watched it last night, and the kids are like, "Where are you on there?" Like, no.
Where are you?
I'm like, Dad's not in this movie. Yeah. I'm Tom Cruise. I'm that captain that can't promote.
There you go.
Yeah, so
highly decorated captain. Highly decorated captain.
Highly decorated captain. Yep, that's right. He does reassure that he's highly decorated. And here's the thing. Real estate was just one of those things that just made a lot of sense for me because, as we've hinted before in previous episodes, I'm an investor. Yeah. And it just made a lot of sense to be involved in helping other people achieve their real estate goals as well. And it's really been an amazing experience so far. In the last year or the last couple of months, I've been involved in 5 transactions. And it's just really, really an honor to be a part of someone's real estate journey that they're just making generational change. It really is generational change with some of them. And I'm just honored to be able to do something like that because that's what really drives me is helping others become better and to create generational changes, not just in my family, but also in other families. So real estate's how I chose one of my revenues of how I'm going to do that. So, like you said earlier, you are a veteran in the real estate world. You've been doing it for 20 years. And I'm just very honored to be on not only on this show, but also be a part of your team, brother.
Yeah. Well, it's mutual love, bro. So I just want to hit that real quick. And I want to make sure that we make a point about this. Like after your career in the Navy, like I imagine you could have done a lot of things. Right. But you chose real estate, and you said that you chose real estate because you wanted to help others with what you experienced as a real estate investor. Is that what I heard you say?
Exactly.
Yep. That's super powerful. It's super powerful, Chris. And it's why we are such good business partners is because we have this amazing alignment. We believe, and this business that I started out as I started it. And now I'm so honored that I get to say it's we. Like it's bigger than me. It's bigger than Chris, right? Like the truth is like it's actually pretty big. And we get to deliver the dream of home ownership, and we get to help build wealth for others. And I like to even break it into like we get to do it for others that we work with. That's our clients, and we get to do it with the people we work. I misspoke. The people that we work with is our team. The people we work with are our team. The people we work for are our clients. And so what I saw in this opportunity was I saw a win-win-win. My family could win. Chris's family could win. Somebody that's not going to be a real estate professional could win. And a lot of people were winning, and everything was going in the right direction. And so with that being said, Chris, I think we need to transition into maybe like, I mean, 10 is a long and a short list, but maybe like 10 points of what someone needs to know if they are considering a career in real estate, or they're in maybe their first year in real estate, or maybe they're in a few years of real estate, but because things got a little crazy in the mortgage world, they're wondering, is this for me? Is this what I should be doing? So Chris, what is the very first and foremost thing that somebody needs to know? Because honestly, like, bro, like I went through like 175 applications to our team today. And I had a lot of the repeats of the same conversations where there's a lack of understanding. So what is something that is absolutely paramount to somebody getting started?
So if you're going to get started, before you even start applying anywhere, you really need to apply yourself to getting your license. And that's the first thing that you need to do, is to look into how you're going to get your license. I recommend looking up one of the more successful schools. You could go on there and Google any of them. You're probably looking at anywhere from $200 to $400 in that price range for a school, and it's usually all online, and you could do your self-paced. Now, here's the thing: you need to treat it like a job.
Mm,
Don't treat it
good.
like a don't treat it like something that is going to happen. No, it doesn't just happen. You have to treat it like a job, focus on it, and get it done. The school's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy content. It doesn't take rocket science to learn it, but it's not easy in the fact that you need to actually do it. And then you got to take a test. You got to go to your state testing agency. You're going to want to consult Google for your state, and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to, and you could also you could reach out to a real estate professional in your state and county, and also ask them, hey, I want to be a realtor. What are the first couple steps? And first step is get your license, get your school, get your license. It's easy, but not easy at the same time. And
Yeah. Yeah. I think you said it well. Like, it's not like super high level rocket science kind of material. But you're not just gonna fake it. You're not just gonna speed read it. You're not gonna fake the class and take the test and pass. Like you're gonna have to put some effort into it.
yeah, exactly. I think with that being said, the other thing is that you're going to have to do some training on top of that, because that school, believe it or not, doesn't really teach you much about
Wait
what
a
to
minute.
be. Yeah, it
Wait a minute.
doesn't
So real
much.
estate school doesn't tell you everything you need to know to be successful in real estate?
Absolutely not. It covers like some of the laws. It'll tell you about equal opportunity, fair housing. It'll tell you about like it'll give you some terms that you're gonna have to learn, like
Some
what's a
math.
vols. Yeah, it's gonna like, hey, how many uh how many square feet in an acre? It's gonna have you learn a lot of the basics.
Yeah.
And as an investor, I found that I knew a lot of it, but there was
Mm.
a lot of stuff that I had to learn as well.
Mm-hmm.
I, I had a little bit of a rough time. So
Yeah.
before, like, I highly recommend, if you're actually serious about it, the reason why I had a rough time, um, I took the class. I bought the whole entire package. I bought the higher end package for my real estate class, which means I had
Mm-hmm.
all this extra content. I was studying all the time. And I believed I had finished the course because I was 100% on everything, except for I did not actually get the course assigned to me inside of my program. I ended up actually getting over 50% refund because of they messed up on their end. But
Mm.
just, yeah, it happens. But here's the thing: that we're going back into the second topic. Training and mentoring is super paramount. You need to find, in my opinion, I like teams because you're surrounded by other experts. You're surrounded by someone. Oh, hopefully, if you're in the right team, someone that's going to put time in, have some kind of training schedule set up, having some kind of mentorship system set up. But here's the thing: it's only as good as you apply yourself to it.
Mm. Yeah, well, like real estate school, right? So that's a great segue into what we'd kind of tag as number 3 on the 10 things that somebody needs to know, and that is the truth is when you get into the real estate industry, unless you've been in a sales industry that was high people, high touch, high contact, long gestation to nurturing of leads, and a super high, like really expensive product that usually requires financing, you're gonna have to get really comfortable with the phrase that I am comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're gonna be doing things that you haven't done before. One of the things that's interesting that I've run into with both people that want to get into a career in real estate, have a license, or people that are just talking to me about my industry is like there's some words that were made out to be like the devil's favorite words, and some of those words are things like scripts. Like, I don't want to be scripted. I don't want to read a script. Well, what's interesting about scripting is that you probably have scripting in your most loved relationship. The phrase "I love you" is truly, if you want to be completely honest, is a script. If you've raised children and you say things like "brush your teeth," like, not only is that a script, but that's what we'd call an embedded command. Like, you're telling them what to do. So that's one of them. Another one that can just set people off is they say, well, I don't want to cold call. And it's like, well, you might. Like, you might need to in the real estate business. Cold calling, you might be looking for a buyer, you might be looking for a seller. If you got a buyer that they identified a certain neighborhood and they're like, I have to live right here, Chris, and there's no homes for sale. Is there any way you could find me anybody in this neighborhood that'd be willing to sell me this home? And you look at your buyer and you say, I'm not comfortable cold calling, you're not going to retain them, right? They're going to be like, well, what the heck do I have you for? Right. And so calling somebody cold, you get to make up your mind what that means. If that means that I'm going to call you, and gosh, in the market, Chris and I working in Washington State, like the median home price is like high 5s to 7s, so if I'm going to call you, Chris, because you live in the neighborhood that my buyer wants to live in, and I offer you better than $500,000, like, is that like super rude and off-putting, or is that something that if everything was right on your side, that it might be a tremendous blessing? So when we say comfortable with being uncomfortable, we also are talking about you got to have the mental acuity to decide what things mean. Does calling somebody out of the blue and offering them $500,000 to $700,000 mean that you're an evil telemarketer out of India that's trying to sell them a home warranty or steal their identity? Or does it mean that you're trying to see if maybe you're the answer to their prayers and they've been wondering how they're going to sell this doggone house? Meanwhile, you got another family that's trying to pray themselves into that neighborhood, right? So you have to make that choice, and that choice happens between your ears. That's the only place that happens. You have to decide. Chris,
Yeah,
what else?
I think that's actually really. I think cold calling can be really difficult, and I'm here to tell you that it's not my favorite thing to do. But let's put a B
Kind of like
T on there.
I don't love it,
Okay.
but I'll do it.
Yeah. Let me tell you, if you have a reason to call, then it's no longer a cold call.
Mhm.
So,
whose job is it to have the reason to call?
Yeah, it's our jobs to find those reasons to make those calls.
There you go. Yeah.
I think with that, being willing to talk to everyone and even people that you meet about real estate and wealth building is super essential. Like, here's the thing: you could call yourself a secret agent. It's Joe knows sometimes. He's like, you can't be a secret agent, Chris.
And you got to drive a European car and get one of them like PPKs and stuff if you're going to do that.
Oh, you didn't see the Aston Martin in my driveway, man?
Yeah. Full of surprises, Mr. Elder.
I don't like my beers shaking. Okay, no,
Yeah.
no, but I think that it's really important to tell people um, your stories, to share with them, not
Mm,
necessarily say, "Hey, I'm in real estate." No, share the wins that you have. Be like, "Hey, I just totally helped this family out that they never thought homeownership would even be something that they could do.
yeah.
Um, they were given some stocks that they were
Ooh,
either allowed to hold on to,
this is a real story.
or
Yeah.
or sell them to buy a home, which
Mhm,
will change their trajectory for their family.
mhm,
So that was really awesome, and they're so young. They're
mhm,
so young, and being able to buy a home at a young age,
mhm,
that's possible. You need to jump on it, even if it's going to leave you pretty much sacrificing those cool trips and stuff like that, and going out every single night, or going to McDonald's and getting a $15 cheeseburger. If you have to sacrifice that a little bit today, it's going to be awesome. And those are the stories that you need to help uh,
mhm,
people hear, and
mhm.
so that way they could realize that they too can also be successful, not just in real estate, but just in wealth building and life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Being willing to talk to everyone that you already know and that you meet, and finding that way, like how do I think there's an art and a science. Like you're not going to walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, bro, how much money's in your checking account?" Right? That's awkward. But being able to have the conversation about where are they at? Do they rent? Do they own? Do they want to own? What do they think their life looks like in the next 5 years? How's their job going? How's the stability of their family? What's the situation with their landlord? Is their landlord going to raise their rent? Are they renting under market? Right? How safe is that? What happens if that landlord ever has a change and has to make a change, and then they have to kind of adjust to what market is? Like, are they going to be able? And so again, I think we have to have that perspective of, are you here to help people? Are you here to deliver the dream and help them build their wealth? Or are you here to be transactional and sell them something, or be awkward, or be pushy or forward or something like that? So number five, if we just kind of think about like the top 10 things that somebody needs to know, is when we meet agents, and even if I told you some of the more vulnerable sides of my story when I first got started, it's absolutely paramount that you learn your market and you learn what the truth is. There's two things that you're combating in real estate. The first one is you're combating emotions. People tell me all the time, I feel like prices are going to go down. I feel like prices are going to go up. I feel like rates are going to go down. I feel like they're going to go up. They tell me all these things, and they usually use the adjective that they feel. And that's emotion. But here's the other thing that you're combating. You're combating the media. The media is looking for a headline. And you know what? Disasters tend to make better headlines. We don't get a lot of headlines that says local Boy Scout helped elderly lady cross the street safely, right? Like we don't get a lot of the feel good no more. Like that's kind of changed. Like I heard that was like the 1950s. I wasn't alive then, right? But they look for kind of what the dumpster fire is, Chris. And so whatever the dumpster fire is, like they put some dumpster fire language to it. And then all of a sudden, some poor person that we live next to, one of our neighbors, is wondering what is going on in the real estate market. And so we just have to kind of be ready that we know the market, we know the truth, and we can be like, hey, Chris, here's the opportunities, here's the options, here's the threats, here's the risks. And once you understand this information and you are equipped to make the best decision for you, I trust you are not going to do something crazy. So Chris, what's the next thing that somebody that wants to build a career in real estate needs to take into consideration?
You know, really, it's like you said earlier. You can't just walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, what's in your bank account?" Right? And with that being said, you have to talk about what's your income and stuff like that. And I think the fastest way through that the income consideration is honestly having a good relationship with a mortgage broker that you can strongly recommend. So that way it makes that conversation to where you're working with somebody with that. Like the what is like what are they actually making per week, per month, and stuff like that. And as an agent, I've learned that working with those mortgage professionals makes that whole entire conversation a lot better, right? And like for example, everybody has different pay schedules and stuff like that. So like the Navy, first and 15th guaranteed clockwork, they're going to be they got guaranteed pay. Now, why is this even a topic of conversation? Well, um, when
You get paid on the
you're
first and the 15th for
yeah
real estate, right?
when when you're a realtor, you're not going to have that. You're going to only get paid whenever you do a job. So, for example, if I sell a house this month, I'm going to get paid. But how often does a realtor? What's the average national numbers, Joe, for how many houses are sold
A
per
realtor
agent?
with 1 to 10 years experience. Yeah, a realtor with 1 to 10 years experience, according to the National Association of Realtors, closes between 1 to 3 homes per year.
Yeah, 1 to 3
Three,
homes
three
per.
paychecks in 12 months.
That's rough. And so
Mhm.
the income consideration is something that a lot of agents they don't really uh like understand. And I started off the conversation with a buyer's perspective. And I'm sorry I went down the wrong road, but I think that it's super important for you to realize that you're going to need some kind of source of income while you're doing real estate. And that's one of the probably
Yeah,
the hardest things and the biggest
yeah.
contributor.
I think it's fair, Chris, because sorry.
I think it's one of the biggest contributors to
We're
why
jammed
our
up. Our
attrition
signals.
rate. Oh, did the Wi-Fi? Is the Wi-Fi messing up?
It's messing up on my side. I don't know for others. Maybe somebody on our live
Uh,
could throw us a hint. But yeah, what you're saying is the attrition rate's really high in our industry because people don't necessarily understand what average is. Average is a compilation of high and low. And so Chris said he closed 5 deals recently. That's high. When the average is 1 to 3 in a year, right? Last year in 2023, because of the rise of the interest rates, we saw a situation where 50% of the licensed realtors in the United States of America closed one or less transaction. And so people don't understand that part of it is actually pretty tough. And that's also why we see 87% of the people that get into real estate leave within the first 60 months. And we're not telling you that to scare you away. We're telling you that if you're tuning into this episode because you're thinking about a career in real estate, or you're in real estate school, or you're in year 1, or you're even in year 5, and you're wondering, what have I done? What have you done isn't necessarily a bad thing, but what you're doing might need to change, which takes us to number 7, which is what somebody needs to know when they're getting into the real estate industry is that your skills are going to be a compilation of people skills, technology skills. I say patience is my superpower. I can be super patient with a situation. I can be super patient in drama. I can be super patient in those things, not because I was born that way, because I was born a very impatient person. Like, you can call my mom and find out. Like, she might even be on here, right? And she's going to tell you, no, he ain't the most patient when it comes to those things, but it's learned. And then last, what we call emotional IQ. And it's being, what I mean by emotional IQ is, I mean, you really got to stay out of the drama of the transaction. Now there's a tension there that's really important. And that tension is you have to care about all of this inside of a real estate transaction. I care about the people, I care about the money, I care about the success of the transaction, I care about all those things. But when it comes to the drama, when it comes to the emotional side, you got to be able to just kind of let that be the water off the duck's back and be like, you know what? I'm not going to get tied up into the emotion, but that's not me saying I don't care, because I care deeply. It's that I don't choose to let that be a part of what we're going to do in this little game of chess or checkers that we're doing in this transaction. So Chris, go ahead. Sorry.
One of the things that we do as real estate agent is we have a joke that we become counselors. And
therapists.
We become therapists, and we're also, you got to look at it like this. We're shielding people from other people's emotional decisions, because if anybody tells you that there's no emotions from the buyers or sellers, that is
just business.
Completely. Yeah, it's completely a farce, because they're they're making a huge financial decision on both sides. And so as a realtor, you have to be able to absorb that emotion and then not let it hit the other person on your side of the deal. That's the thing. You're almost kind of like a filter. And so that's why Joe's saying having emotional IQ and also learning patience, and honestly having someone that you can vent to. If you don't have someone that you can vent to, you'll end up venting to the wrong person, because I don't recommend you just holding on to it. You need someone to talk to about your frustrations. And Joe is one of those people that I go and vent to, and it helps
Not
me.
Your spouse. Don't vent to your spouse. Yeah, vent to your business partner. Don't vent to your spouse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes into the next topic, Joe. And that's who you choose as your partner will either make or break your career. And it's so, I think, as a younger real estate agent, picking someone that's been around for a while, and then someone that also appreciates the skills that I bring forward and that my own experience as a investor. Not once has he ever, I guess this is the first time he's actually called me a rookie, and we've almost been together for a year. And it's someone that challenges me, someone that listens to me, but also knows that, hey, whenever I'm working something, like, let me work it and lets me kind of grow at my own speed. And that's why I think business partners are super important. And I think that's also not just the business partners, but those who you ally with, because not everybody you're going to be able to be business partners with. But I think being respectful across the board is a great playing field. Give everybody the respect, just right off the bat, and let them determine how you're going to go with that. So,
yeah. What's so interesting is that selling things to realtors is an industry, and I don't think we all realize that when we get our license that we're going to be sold to a lot. And so what happens is everybody's selling to you when you have a real estate license something that they think you need, and that's true inside of like the brokerage model. And so when we say who you partner with will make or break your career, that can be the brokerage. Well, the number one thing that gets negotiated quickly in a brokerage type conversation is generally money. And it's how, what are we going to do with the money when it comes in from the transaction? Well, some of you might know that there is and has been this nationwide lawsuit about real estate commissions, and maybe you're even looking to this podcast as a source of information about should you get in this industry or not, because again, the media likes a dumpster fire, and they like headlines that make dumpster fires. And so, we could do a whole nother episode on that. I think we're going to actually abstain from that, because people that are focusing on that, we believe, are focusing on the wrong thing. But I like to just give this one quick analogy. When a customer is asking me about commissions or a potential business partner's asking me about commissions. And because we're in the Northwest, a lot of people are familiar with Boeing Airplane Company. And when Boeing Airplane Company sells a plane, they sell it for dollars and cents that are far beyond what most of us have the ability to even comprehend. And yet I know hundreds of Boeing employees. And here's what I know. Not one of those Boeing employees gets the whole check when the Prince of Dubai buys a new Boeing plane, right? It gets split among everyone. Well, people tend to not understand that when you hire a real estate agent, right, you hire the Platz group and we put our name on the sign. My name's on the sign. I acknowledge that. The truth is, I don't get to keep all the money. I wish I could, but I can't. Just like the person that works at Boeing doesn't keep all the money when the plane sells. So the next thing is when you talk about who you partner with as a professional, some companies will offer you really low fees, lots of different things to entice you. There's a company that's kind of an emerging company that they even offer a car wash subscription membership. And they say, we do this and this and this, and we give you this membership. You can go get your car washed every day if you want, right? And to me, that's comical because your car wash should not be part of your business plan. It should just be part of maintaining your car. And so, 100% as an example of nothing is nothing. And a piece of that sale of that Boeing airplane is actually something, right? And so when we go to make these partnerships, what company are we going to join, or what team are we going to join, or who are we going to lock arms with, Chris? Like, there's a really important thing to understand. What are we actually negotiating? Are we negotiating all of nothing or something of something, right? And so we need to do that. Before we wrap this up with number 10, I want to throw in kind of number 9 real quick. Pardon me. And that is, somebody who is thinking about a career in real estate needs to understand something very important, even in a partnership, Chris. And that is, they are starting a business. You are a startup business. Chris, I can give you the world in the real estate industry, but the one thing I can't give you is the 20 years that I've been doing this thing. Just like Tiger Woods can't give me 20 years of hitting a golf ball with a golf club, and Michael Jordan can't give me 20 years of shooting free throws, right? Like I can't give you that part. And so you're starting a business. Well, when you're starting a business, if you're a startup, you have something that becomes a quick consideration, and that is your work-life balance. And how you figure out how to do that is, number one, you need to be really clear on your priorities. I have a family, and I started real estate when I didn't have a family. And that means a lot of different things. But here's what I know. I know that the people that I was mentored by, that I was trained by, that I was coached by, they're the ones who ultimately taught me how to balance this business that I have a deep burning desire to own and to grow and to continue to work on and nurture into something more, and still not work 7 days a week, 14, 15 hours a day and burn myself out. And so we could create a whole episode on the things that we've learned to do this, but you're going to get that from the being in the right real estate community. They're the ones that are going to show you. So Chris, if they only heard one thing today and they're thinking about getting into real estate as a career, what is the absolute most important ingredient to being successful in real estate?
Never quit. Never quit. Like,
never,
you
never,
need it.
Never.
If you need a moment to like get yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are going to succeed, then you need to do that. You need to look at yourself in the mirror. You need to tell yourself that I'm going to make it. And then you never quit. You just don't quit. Just being relentless. I honestly think that, I wasn't the smartest kid in high school. I didn't get the highest grades. I got some college behind me.
You actually
But I
have
think
pretty big challenges.
Yeah, I've had some pretty big challenges, and if you want to read about what my challenges are, I post on my blog. Um, but the thing is I just get back up and I just keep going at it. I'm kind of like um, that
Right.
little train that said, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, as I'm going up the hill. And that's,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
little train plays in my head, but that's the biggest thing that you need to take is just never quit. Like just get up, get at it. You may
Yeah.
fail. Failing is good. Honestly, failing is good. You
Hey,
could
I've
learn
failed
from
lots of
something from
times.
fail. Yeah, you could learn. You could learn from failing.
Mhm.
What you can't learn from is just not doing nothing. I mean, it's
Stop showing up. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah,
You
brother.
know,
I think
a lot of people. Oh, sorry.
no, you're good. Go ahead,
I
brother.
hope the connection thing is. Yeah, I hope the connection thing isn't as bad for everyone else as it is between you and I. But internet connection, to be clear. But I'll go to events sometimes, and people will come up and they'll say very nice things. And the truth is I'm very grateful for their recognition. In not that I need the ego stroke and I don't need the pat on the back, but that I know that they're trying to give honor and respect and say good job. And I think that's really kind of them. And uh, I take it in that healthy, honoring way. But just like Chris said, like I wasn't top of my class. I wasn't the smartest guy that I know. I'm not the best guy there is in real estate. But I'll tell you one of the things that's different about me than a lot of other people that have had the same license in their pocket is that they didn't just think about quitting, they actually quit. I've thought about quitting hundreds of times. I'm at the point now where I've resolved that and I'm not quitting. Like I got past that, but I'm not going to tell you that that wasn't a thing. And what I am going to tell you is this as we wrap it up. This is a rewarding career and it'll give back to you in multipliers for whatever you put in it. And I would tell you that if you gave me my life to live over again, Chris, and I knew what I was doing, I would still choose real estate as my job, as my career, as my industry, because it is so highly rewarding. But I'll tell you, you got to have tenacity. You got to have grit. You got to love the product. You got to love real estate and you got to love people. And you got to love them enough that you're going to help them to win no matter what it takes. And even on your worst days, like you said, you're going to look in the mirror, you're going to give yourself a little pity party and a little pep talk. And you're going to say this to yourself. You're going to say, somebody needs my help today. And my job is I need to go find them. And if you can master that, you can be the Tiger Woods and the Michael Jordan and the Russell Wilson of real estate, and you can kill it all together. So, Chris, any other thoughts before we let this one go?
I think we nailed it. We spent a lot longer than we normally like to on
We
this,
did.
and I honestly think the most important one was don't quit. So, um, yeah, man, I think honestly, I love these lives. What do you guys think? Oh, we got someone that came on and said hello. Who's Chris Engel? Yeah. Hi,
Oh yeah,
Chris. How's
my
it
buddy
going?
Chris.
Yeah, I
Chris,
like it.
long time. We love you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So please tell us what you guys think of these lives. We'll even take suggestions on what you guys want to hear. So leave it in the comments on what you guys are really interested in hearing about, and we will bring that into our episode to come.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, Joe Platz and Chris Engel, PLACE Navigators. We can't wait to connect with you again. And please like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends. There should be some content in one of our podcasts that could help somebody whether they're a buyer, a seller, they're interested in a career in real estate. And honestly, it'd be the greatest joy of our lives to do anything that would help you on your own journey of building your career, building your wealth. And don't forget, our partners are 3,000 strong, spanning the nation. And so anywhere you're at, we have someone who is absolute top tier, able to help you build your wealth through real estate. We'll catch you on the next one.